All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Champions Corner. All opinions, no facts. We're in the week 2 recap. With me, as always, is Mr. Matthew Harris.
I'm not happy.
No, you're not happy? Why not? We'll get to that. We'll get to why you're not happy. No need to talk about it right now. Making his second appearance with us is Mr. Jeff Chewy Hastings. Say hi.
Oh, I'm here.
Well done. All right, we're going to jump right into the most important part of this league.
It is the capstone, the cornerstone. Like it probably would be the most. It's the only reason I enjoy this league. And
Gosh.
it's definitely not the people. Like they're the ones.
All right, well, get us rolling, buddy. Tell us all about the betting aspect.
Let's get in the bet. So we'll start with the bets. We kind of made it a bet, but it's more a shots or chug per wrong choice for our picks of the week last week of who would win in all our competitions. And so I'm not looking at the sheet, but I know that Matt Harris got 3 wrong and has already paid for 2 of those. Carver, you got 2 wrong and did the best out of us. Haven't paid any of them. Harris is about to take his last shot from this. And I got 3 wrong, not the one where I picked against myself because I've lost. So,
True. While you're recapping this, I'm going to take care of both of my punishments.
Yeah, assuming any of that doesn't get cut out by your back.
By what? By my background? Oh,
Yeah.
We saw you pour something and then it finished.
How do I?
Hey,
look at that.
Just as expected, you like a lot of head.
Don't we all?
Right? Yeah, it's good stuff. Then we have you guys kept betting in last week's video, so your bets are all on top. It was rivalry week, which is usually a big betting week, and that shows because this week we had 15 more bets than last week total. I believe it went from 32 total bets for the league to 47, so good job, league. Some of that comes from Richie and I because we did a position bet. And each one of those counts as a different bet. So, but rivalry week, Carver did his standard trade a bench player with Harris, and the final score ended up that being Carver 138 to Harris's 120. So Harris is going to lose a player.
No, it's a trade. I still get a player.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Don't lose a player.
Doesn't mean it's going to be a good thing. Just like losing. Then you guys did another one, which was Kamara Kelsey and the Saints versus Christian McCaffrey, Andrews, and the Bucks. And that was a card bet, which Matt Harris also lost. And he was awarded the Chug, the PBR hard coffee drink.
No. Shotgun it.
Shotgun, the PBR hard coffee.
I have to get me a cool switchblade.
Yeah, definitely flip that around a few times, cut your face. You really got to one up the other knife spinner. All right, Carver, we're watching. Then we all decided Brian would lose. Brian was unhappy about that, challenged us all to a shot and chug if he did win, in which he didn't. So Brian, you owe a shot and chug, or 3. I'm not sure if it was. Yep. Okay. So Brian owes 3. Matt is saying. I totally agree with that. So enjoy that because you challenged all 3 of us.
We're all individuals, so yes.
Yes. Oh, I see. That's why you put it the way you did. Okay. That's good. Then we have the positions bets between Richie and myself. Richie lost at the QB. He lost the tight end, and he lost. There was something else, and I can't read all of them. Oh, the defense. No, I lost that one. Richie. Why can't I read tonight? I won quarterback. I won running back. I won tight end. There we go. So those are the ones he lost. And Richie won wide receiver, flex, and defense kicker combined. So we split those evenly. We already paid those all up because we're excellent drinkers and we're on top of this. We don't need me to tell people their bets. Total points between Gary and Bill. Bill lost that one by 33 and is now finding out how much he has to drink in chugs. And Gary phrased it to where 3 ounces have to be hard alcohol. So the guy that barely got 2 chugs in last week has 33 ounces and 1 bet to get done. That includes 3 shots. And then Gary and Bill had a second bill that was really oddly phrased, got us down to a combined total points of the wide receivers, running backs, tight end, and flex, which Bill, of course, also lost. His team really didn't show up this week. So Bill owes another shot or chug for that one. And then Spear and Bill got into it over wide receiver receiving yards, in which Spear had 241, and Bill had 93. So Bill gets another shot or chug. So Bill may be the one drinking the most this week. I haven't really added up the alcohol, but welcome to the league, Bill. You're really on track now. Then Spear challenged Corey to the Cardinals in Seattle win or loss, which the phrasing is bad, but the Cardinals won and the Seattle managed to just throw their game away. So Corey got a lovely card bet out of this, which I believe that one resulted in him having to host a viewing party. Corey then loses another bet for a card with Spear, which is the Tiger beat, Higgins versus Chase. And that one is the lovely Edward McForty hand. So we have graciously allowed that one to be postponed until the viewing party. So as much of the league as possible could watch Corey do Edward 40 hands and really enjoy that spectacle. So early scheduling sounds like it's the Cardinals versus Seattle. We got to get that made official and where it's being hosted official by September 30th, or as one of the cards states, that will count as not being paid in time. Did you have to at least have it officially scheduled in the normal card window?
So tentatively, you've offered up your house for that weekend so that we can just get everybody together and watch the Cardinals Seahawks game.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've got quite a large space for being able to get people in and watching games, and we've got 2 rooms that we can do it in if people really don't get along. But that ruins all the fun. So yeah, ideally, because I know Corey's, a lot of you guys have families. I don't, so I just have all the fun that I want.
Lucky.
Yeah, wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up. That's the key. Like that avoids most of the kid having. But so those are the 2.
More of a pull-out kind of man myself.
Yeah, that doesn't always work.
Does the way I do it.
I'll trust you. I don't actually know your life scenario. So. You could just be doing it in the butt where it doesn't matter. I don't know. But sweet. So somewhere in this, okay, back to the bets. After those 2, we had the Chris versus Matt Nielsen bet, just straight rivalry win for chug and shot. Matt Nielsen won that one, so Chris will owe that chug and shot. We then had a total points includes bench between Corey and Spear for a shot or chug. And Corey wins that one at 155 to Spear's 140. We have a rivalry win, which is one of the games I picked right, where Rashawn beat Chris. I have it written down that this is a shot or chug in shaving legs, because that's what was thrown in the chats, and I never saw it turned down. So
Fairly certain.
yeah, the shot or chug by Sunday, the shaving the legs by 30. I'm gonna treat that kind of like a card, so you have till September 30th.
So by the end of this season, Special K is going to be hairless.
Yeah, if he can do another card bet for that, the face shaving one,
Oh man.
we might as well just add one where you shave your head if it keeps going this way.
Yeah, we're gonna make him look full on alopecia.
Alopecia.
Yeah. Yeah, because that wasn't even a card bet. Just Brashawn just added that in, like, no card bet, shave your legs. Like, really wanted a specific punishment on this one.
Well done, Brashawn. Well played.
Yeah, very, yeah.
Like Brashawn watches this.
Slightly lucky. No, he doesn't, because when we get to this game thing, we'll realize he still started Devin Booker. Which is, he was told not to do anymore.
Well, especially since Devin Booker plays basketball for the Phoenix Suns. Shouldn't play him in football.
Well, you know, I don't. There's a Booker. It's very close to that, I think. Maybe. I don't know. It's odd. They also had a total points point differential bet. I don't think that one included bench, so Chris only owes 2.5 ounces, which will probably all be in shots because it should be. Then we had the battle for Ohio between Richie and Corey, which I show Richie winning this week because that's Mixon versus Chubb. So Richie, I forget who has who, 16.3 versus 7.6. So Corey owes a shot or chug on that one. You have Matt Harris challenge Corey to Gordon versus Williams, and they tied. So they have both decided to chug a drink or take a shot, and that's been paid.
Yep.
And then lastly, we have a quarterback bet between the Chris's, and normal Chris wins by just less than a point versus Special K. So that one is one of the bets I typically hate because it is a chug or a shot in sitting your kicker in week 3.
Yep.
Which I guess makes sense now that I look at the schedule because they do play each other. So at least they set that bet up for one of them to be at a disadvantage against the other.
I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna give a piece of advice. Never accept a bet where if you lose, you sit a player from your active roster. I will never accept a bet where I have to sit a player from my active roster.
Yeah, I'm fully against those bets, but if people want to do them,
Yeah.
great, whatever. But that's the bet, so we'll see how those get paid up and enjoy those videos because that's probably the most fun part of this league. And then we can move on with the show and talk about what happened this week, I guess, is next.
All right.
All right.
Oh yeah, no, I wanted to go back in the WhatsApp chat real quick and just verify Chris and the shaving legs. You're right. Brashawn said no card, but loser has to shave legs too. And then a couple texts down, Chris says, "Wait, what? So no card, but bet, but fine. That's fine. LOL."
Yeah, but this is okay, fine, something like that.
Yeah.
It seemed accepted to me, so.
Yeah.
Is it just one leg?
It says shave your legs.
Yeah, so it's both.
So both.
I guess Prashan was disappointed after Spear opened his stupid mouth and made me rules lawyer the waxing the chest from Chris's hairless chest to his legs and then back. And so Prashan must have wanted him to really be silky smooth. So, but yep, that's the bets. The good news is all the week 1 bets were paid on time, so that was good. Nobody got a punishment. We don't have to mock anyone endlessly for that.
So what is if we have another Spear situation where Corey has to make a counter meme where he's counting up all the days that Spear takes to, or if somebody takes to not pay up. Have we clarified the punishments on all that so everybody knows?
Yeah, so I have written into the rules punishments for both bets being late. So the card bet is if you're late on a card bet, you get what we call the death nut punishment, which Matt had as a card last year that never got pulled. But basically, it's some horribly spicy nut thing that he's trying to show us. And so somebody's got to eat that. So that gets assigned if you do not pay a card bet in time.
That's not where he dips his balls in hot sauce and teabags you?
No, I mean, plus that would not be as much a punishment for him doing it.
I mean, if anybody wants to hop on that, I got a bunch of hot sauces. Like,
Oh, I thought you were
I-
offering to teabag people with hot sauce nuts as the punishment.
yeah, that's what I said. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody wants me to do that, I'm for it. Like,
Is that a punishment?
Well, if they have to lick the hot sauce off Matt's balls, it probably is.
We'll
It's
get
not
back
for
to
Matt.
It's
Matt's,
kind It's kind of like the body shot bet in a way.
yeah, we did put that in there, right?
Yeah.
no, I don't think we did.
No, it's
actually.
in there. It's
Is it?
Yeah, it's on the list.
Oh yeah, take a body shot off your bets winner. Yep, it is
Oh,
King
yeah.
of Hearts.
We put that in there. That's right. Yeah, so that's I don't know what happens if more than one person, we'll have to come up with I don't know how many death nuts are in Matt's bag there.
I can tell you. So the Death Nut has 5 levels.
Okay.
And looks like there's about 7 nuts in each one. So level 1 is getting started, and it's Carolina Reaper, chocolate Budla peppers. Number 2, warming up Carolina Reaper and Ghost Pepper. Number 3, it's getting real Carolina Reaper plus 7-pot brain strain peppers. Number 4, the pain sets in 2 times Carolina Reaper, 7-pot Dula peppers. And then the Death Nut, 2 times Carolina Reaper, scorpion peppers, 13 million Scoville capsaicin crystals.
So sweet.
Your butt's on fire.
Yeah, that's the thing is the coming out is way worse than the initial intake.
So I do like the fact that we made it a punishment for not getting bets done because, yeah, I've had this damn thing for a year now. It needs to go. And we had bitches not wanting to pick cards because they were afraid they were going to get the Death Nut. You know who you are.
Bitches.
That was not the card I was afraid of. And I didn't do a card bet last year.
You
That's why I
did?
No, that's why I made sure this year I started the year off by doing one. Because last year was an off year for me for bets in general. But anyway,
Is
so
is there any stipulation in league rules that you have to accept like at least one card bet during the season?
no, we have not added. We just have that you must participate in 20 individual bets by the end of the season.
That also seems low.
Well, that's what I said in my first video with you guys last week was that if you do the math on how many weeks we are, now there's 14 instead of 13. We should at least make it, basically an average of 2 bets a week. I mean, even that seems light when you already have, I think it's like 4 or 5 people close to 10. I know we have only 3 technically, 10 or over, and then we've got 3 other 9. So half the league is 9 or more bets already in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But we do have Matt Neeson, who only has 2, along with, and then Chris Deering and Rashawn only have 3. So we do have some low betters this year. We'll see. They've got plenty of time to get some more in.
I believe in them.
Yeah. Nobody missed it last year, but I do feel like we added a bunch right near the end. And I think it allows even like to make bets during the playoffs because that's what really that'd be another reason to up the minimum, that if you're not gonna make it normal season or regular season, that if you got those extra 3 weeks of the playoffs, then there's no reason not to up the thing to where you're averaging about 2 a week.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I've also, back to the penalties, we've added a penalty for regular, like the drinking bets not being paid on time, which I didn't run by anybody, but I put it in all the chats and nobody yelled at me, so it's the rule now.
You're the overlord. You
yeah.
make the rules.
That's what I figured. So that one is, and I've been having problems with Gary because he keeps saying the rules for paying wrong. Regular drinking bets are due before games start on Sunday. Right? So that's the rule. Gary has said multiple times wrong things, but so stop listening to Gary about the drinking.
He's not the overlord. He's not
Yeah.
the overlord. You are. So
Well, that's just good life advice to stop listening to Gary.
Right. So now, and I wrote it to where I don't think we're gonna have, I don't know that we have any Europe games or any of that, because that usually screws up that rule. So I specifically state the like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. game when daylight savings hits. That's the deadline. So you pay up your drinking bets by then. If you don't, I assess a shot or chug penalty for every day overdue after that. Like it is every day I add another shot, because it's the foundation of this league, and that's always been the rule.
Nice.
So, and there's words, so like everybody can see the sheet. It is the first tab of the betting sheet. It's all the rules. The second tab is all the card punishments, and then tabs of bets season long and the bet tally. So, and I think the rules, some of these rules are posted as the description of our betting channel on WhatsApp.
Mhm.
All right.
It wouldn't fit all of them, so it might not have the penalties, but oh well, you'll find out if you don't pay on time.
All right. That probably wraps up all the bets and the betting and the rules and everything. So nobody should have any excuses as to not knowing what's going on, because everybody watches this video 2, 3, 4 times. So, and they take notes and they study it.
And they like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yeah. Yeah, there was somebody, I think it was Spear, something about saying something in the WhatsApp about commenting on the video. And I was like, YouTube has a place for you to comment in the video. Like just comment down below. We're trying to hit, we're trying to hit 10 subscribers, guys. Like raising
You're at
that
like
bar.
4.
They do plaques for 10 subscribers, right?
I have no
Yeah.
idea. I have no interest in being somehow YouTube famous.
Well, too late.
Yeah,
Too late.
I'm gonna be the one that gets in trouble for all the offensive things I say. I know how this goes. And yet I still say horrible things. Special
Wow.
K, you are not my favorite.
All right. All right, let's start moving into the weekly wrap up. Matt, you wanna start us off with your first game of choice?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's get into it. I was the only one out of the 3 of us who picked Nielsen to defeat Deering this week. And yeah, I was right. And apparently, Nielsen was super confident in his team. So much so that he didn't even pick up a bench player for his team. He's got an empty bench spot. So he had that much faith in his team, not even to go pick somebody else up. So I'm proud of him right there. Of course, Nielsen definitely rode the back of Derrick Henry, who scored him almost 50 points this week. Deering did put forth a good effort. Jones scoring 38.5. So, well done to both guys. Definitely outscored more than I thought you guys would for sure. And so, yeah, congrats to that, Nielsen. you got an empty bench spot. You should probably pick somebody up. But do you, man? Your team is kicking ass this week. So, Deering, what can I say, man? You would have won a lot of the games this week if you played anybody else but Nielsen. So that sucks. But yeah. So that's my first wrap up there. Nielsen defeating Deering.
But I would like to point out, I do believe Chris Deering has the longest hair in the league.
Well, you saw his name in my video, right? Flowing locks.
Oh
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It's
I think
beautiful.
he has a man crush on Justin Herbert, and he's trying to like go for that.
Should have drafted. Oh, he's got Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's a Trevor Lawrence thing.
Who knows? Seems
Yeah.
reasonable.
All right, Wookie, why don't you take us on yours?
Yeah, so last week when I was picking rivals, I chose my rival to kick my ass, and he did. Surprisingly, though, not that well. It's just neither of our teams decided to play very well. 8 other teams would have beat Richie this week. So Richie won with 98-8-8, and I lost at 78-8-8 because I don't want to say 88 for some reason. So there's a lot of 8s. It's 7 trip 8s and 9 trip 8s. It's a fun score. But yeah, there's nothing I could have done that would have made, like, at least with my bench. The good news is I was not winning this game. Like with what was on my lineup, it's not like I could have done a Brashawn and actually set my lineup correctly and had better points and tons more. I would have still lost. I would have had more points, but I would have still lost, or at least with what I would have done. I mean, if I had made the perfect calls, I would have, but I would not have done that. Like the only person I would have switched this league I thought about was taking Corey Davis out of my lineup because I had heard that New England was just going to shut down their only player, and that's exactly what New England did. So
You mean what Belichick has been doing for the last 20 years?
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a strategy, but I didn't want to. Just did. Problem is I have him in another league, so I played him in both leagues, and I just kind of stared at him in both leagues like, this is gonna be bad, and it was. Corey's amazingly yeah, I don't know. Luckily, we went over bets. I somehow still got 3 position bet wins out of this, even though I lost by 20 points. So kind of a boring game between the two of us who did well last week.
Matt and Chewy, but did you guys talk about the droppable candidates from the teams on your games that you're talking about?
No. Why
No,
would
I
do
did not.
Yeah, let's make that a weekly thing. Every time you talk about a game, look at teams' players and be like, yeah, this guy sucks. You should probably drop him and go for somebody else because he's doing nothing for you. So do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually talked about Deering last week. Deering's still holding 2 defenses. So drop a defense. That's my suggestion. I would drop the Vikings defense personally. But yeah, that's what I would do if I was Deering, but I'm not Deering. And as far as it goes for Nielsen, I already touched on it. He's got an open bench spot. So don't drop a player, add a player. That's what I would do for Nielsen.
Yeah. If I'm looking at this, it looks like I need to switch kickers because Seattle is only scoring touchdowns for the most part. So having Seattle's kicker is only getting me 4 or 5 points a week instead of potentially more. But I'll have to check the schedules. Maybe they'll play somebody harder where they actually kick field goals. I don't know. As far as Richie, it's kind of hard to criticize. Like last week, Richie was the highest scoring and I was the 3rd highest scoring. And this week, I was the 2nd lowest and Richie was the 2nd lowest and Richie was the 4th lowest. Yeah, that's how math works. Counting from the bottom, it's hard. Richie's team, yeah. There is no one on his team I would get like, I know the one you would suggest is potentially Roundtree, but he was actually recommended as a pickup just to start getting him as the backup because he, like, if something happens, like if you're gonna, the question is, I don't know who you're gonna pick. Like at this point, there's no great week 2 standouts to go grab. So, he may be getting more of a workload than any other backup in LA. So
Now, LA's backup is going to be somebody else. I don't know, but the thought process on this is we should all have at least one player on our bench that is expendable, where there's other guys that you can take flyers on that are on the waivers that you should almost be dropping a player every week and picking up somebody off of waivers in the hopes that you find that one guy that like kind of hits and becomes something. Because keeping a Larry Roundtree on your bench isn't doing anything. But if you're continually having like at least one roster spot in a rotation that you can drop a guy and pick somebody else up, there is that chance that you hit on a guy you pick up,
yeah,
and it's gold for you. But if you don't take that chance, then you never have that opportunity to hit on a guy.
right. Or you could be like me, and after week 2 of last year, you do that, but you dropped Jefferson to pick somebody up. And so you drop the guy that hits the very next week and is the pickup.
Well, if you had listened last year, I would have told you to not drop Jefferson, but we weren't making videos then. So
So
I benefited off that. So I'm really glad you did that. Thank you.
Right. So what you're saying is the guy that benefited off people dropping people would like people to continue to drop people.
2 thumbs
Okay.
up. Yes.
Just to be clear on what the motivation for, you should always just randomly be dropping a guy because one of them's probably expendable.
It's not exactly what I'm saying, but
No, of course not exactly what you said. All right,
No.
well, that's my,
I seriously, I'll stand by that. You should be, I think everybody should be trying to rotate guys, find a player on your roster that, at least one guy that is expendable, and keep taking flyers on guys that could potentially be something. You never know what's gonna hit. So, but you dropped Justin Jefferson for a reason, but we picked him up for a reason because, it's the whole like one man's trash is another man's treasure. So just because if you drop a guy because you're like, he's trash, I want to go after somebody else, and I pick that same guy up, it's still roster churning. It's still taking shots on different people. It's not just staying stagnant and being
Right.
like, well, I'm just going to stick with the team I drafted because I drafted them. So, and I don't want to put in any time or effort. Like the only way you're going to have any kind of positive change is to make changes. You can't just stay stagnant and expect anything to be different.
right.
But anyway, so I'm going to talk about the Trash Pandas versus, I want to say, Lasso Special.
What it looks like.
Yeah,
Does
I think
anybody?
it's Ted Lasso, I think.
Great show, by the way. Highly recommended if you haven't watched it yet. Ted Lasso on
great.
Apple Plus. But so yeah, sure, we'll go with Bill is a big Ted Lasso fan. Bill got crushed by Gary, who would have lost to 6 other people. So Yeah, Bill easily scored the least amount of points this week. I mean, it's embarrassing, but no, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at his team. He's only got one person on his bench that scored in double digits. So it's not as if making a change, like you weren't going to sit Tyreek Hill for Tyler Boyd. That's just not a thing that's going to happen.
Now you look at
So I think Bill is just going through some growing pains. He's going through the first year blues and ran into the juggernaut, which is Gerald DeGroat.
You
Gary,
might not want to call him a juggernaut when Gary didn't score that many.
Hey,
He's
Gary-
very average this week.
Gary broke 100 points. Gary would have wiped the floor with you this week, buddy.
That's how fantasy works. His teams don't show up. I'm just saying, juggernaut at 100 points even is kind of not what I would qualify. as juggernaut.
I'm happy with my word choice.
Sure you are.
I'm gonna have to eat some crow on some though. For the last couple weeks, I've been talking shit about Gary's Noah Fant, Cortland Sutton back-to-back stack in the draft. Looking pretty nice now that Jerry Jeudy got hurt. Even though he doesn't need Noah Fant because Rob Gronkowski is going to get apparently 2 touchdowns a game. Yeah, so I would if I had to recommend some drop candidates for both of those guys, I mean, Damian Williams or Wayne Gallman for Gary. I mean, I know that there's the backup running backs and you're hoping that, okay, if the starting running back gets hurt, this guy comes right in. But they've both been in the league for a few years. If they were going to be something for a team, they probably would have already proven their spot and had a role. It's not like either of those guys are held in high regard of like Tony Pollard, where everybody thinks that if Zeke goes down, Tony Pollard's going to be a top 5 running back. Those guys are just guys. They're just clogging spots on your bench. Gary, you could probably drop one of those guys and take a chance at somebody else, take flyers on guys and just see if they hit. The guys that you take a flyer on are probably going to do, if they do nothing for you, they're doing the exact same thing that Damian Williams and Wayne Gallman are doing for you. Absolutely nothing. So, and then for Mr. Bill, I'll continue to harp on the I hate Mike Gesicki. He's trash. And I don't care that he outscored the tight end you started this week. Jared Cook's still a better tight end, better situation. You've got Justin Herbert, so you've got that Jared Cook tight end stack. It will pay off for you eventually. So I think Mike Gesicki is a piece of trash and you should drop him. Yeah, or James Conner. I mean, James Conner sucks. He's on the Cardinals, so I mean, that makes sense. Well, I mean, everybody in the NFC West is 2-0, Matt. Don't you know that the NFC West is the best division and all the teams in the NFC West are 2-0?
Should have
Except for one.
Is there not a 2-0 team?
Those Seattle Seahawks. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a good thing we don't have anybody in our league that likes the Seahawks.
Nope.
No, nobody's that dumb.
But, oh, wait. No, Corey's that dumb.
Ah, damn it.
Corey, rooting for the only team in their division that loses games. You suck. Sorry, man. Don't want to kick you while you're down, but I do want to kick you while you're down because you're a Seahawks fan and I don't like you.
Well, maybe we should boost him up now and let's talk about Spear and Corey there, Wookie.
What a professional transition.
Yeah. We all know how this game is going to turn out because we all correctly picked it last week, which offended poor Spear because it hurt his tiny little feelings because he's such a precious snowflake. But we were right, and Corey beat Spear with a whole whopping 10, we'll call it 105 to like 99. So it was close. It probably was. I think when we picked it, we all assumed Spear would get beat.
Did you
Yeah,
just
that
give
was a-
Spear 0.34 undeserved points?
Yes.
How dare you?
Well, because Corey has a reputation for getting stat corrected that costs him really good. So, I'm just going to give Spear a few now. It's probably not enough to cost Corey the win, but just in case. But I also gave Corey 0.26, so yeah, it's a balance. Yeah, there was no like the downside is there's no like great players that show like Corey wins, but Mixon didn't really do what you expected to. I don't know that you're expecting Javonte Williams to really go off yet. I forget what he did last week. It was probably decent actually. No.
No.
Javonte is yet to be
Yeah.
the player that Corey really believes he's going to be.
Well, I mean, I think everybody drafted him with the he'll get there eventually mentality. Like
For
you
sure,
know,
yeah.
The downside is that Corey's already using him as a starter, but that's because he doesn't have anyone else to like. You're probably not going to use Dylan over him, and maybe you start using Hasty over him, but who knows? Because apparently San Francisco wants to give the Ravens a run for injured running backs. Like,
Point of fact, over the last 20 years, the Niners are the second most injured team in all of football. So it's par for the course for us.
that is a horrible statistic to own. Like,
Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, I think the Eagles might be the first. But yeah, Niners over the last 20 years, second most oft injured team in all of football.
wow. Yeah, I know last year was terrible, and then this year is. I don't know if this year is as bad as how last year started for you, but it's running that way already. You're the fan. You tell me, is it bad as week 2 of last year?
No, because right now we're keeping it to running backs. We're just hurting our running backs. That's it. Everybody else is being okay.
Well, and this year, if you lose your quarterback, you're just expecting the next one to take over anyway.
Oh yeah. That's kind of. I think Kyle Shanahan just hopes Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, so he doesn't have to make the decision to put Trey Lance in.
Right.
But whatever.
So back to this matchup. I was gonna talk about who to drop on Corey's team, but then I noticed that even after we had this great conversation in the WhatsApp in this video last week about how we have 2 IR spots, and one of them is only if the player is on COVID. And Spear has Josh Jacobs and Odell Beckham Jr. in IR slots, neither of which have any COVID designation that I can find. Like pulling on the news. So right after this, like we even had Gary addressing. I don't know. I think that means as punishment, Spear has to drop all his bench players just to teach, because like we don't know which one he would have dropped, so he better just drop all of them and then hope he can get a couple of them back in waivers.
That sounds fair to me.
Yeah, the bet overlord is also the punishment overlord, and I agree with like, really good at
Wow.
punishments.
That took a turn. Yeah, I was thinking maybe throw a card at him or something, but dropping his players, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Death nut.
Yeah. Well, if we waste our punishment one, we'll have to go get more punishment like penalty cards.
Well, is it the teabagging death nut or is it the death nut? I need to know.
Spear can choose.
Yeah, we'll flip one. Or Spear could choose. He's a big fan of teabagging, so maybe he'd like to receive. That's his Halo MO, even though he's not good. His 1 to 2 kills a game, he will teabag you until somebody shoots him in the face. But yeah, so Gary, have a lovely time dealing with Spear and this broken IR rule we seem to have. As far as dropping people, Spear. I mean, you got like 2 people that scored no points this week. Plus, you got 2 people on IR that probably not dropping the IR guys. Jeff Wilson Jr. is another. Couldn't he be on IR? Like, when is he supposed to come back? So there's one option. I don't know that you want to drop him. The other one is Stevenson on New England. Got no points, but I don't want anything to do with, usually I don't want anything to do with a Patriots running back because they're so committee heavy, but who knows? I don't know. I'm not big on this drop thing, but he would be, it's hard to drop a running back in this league.
Yeah.
Spear also has 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends, so he probably has plenty of room to just drop and add, because why?
Mhm.
Don't worry about it. Corey's team. I'm just gonna go with what Matt said last week, and you can drop Marshall Jr. So Matt Carver can have it as part of their bet.
Let's do
Which
it.
I forget what the bet is, but I know it's Marshall versus somebody.
It's Marshall versus Anderson. Yeah, it's 19-11. Anderson's winning right now.
Just running away with it right now, aren't you?
Oh, you have no idea.
Is your confidence building with every week?
Every week, man. Every week I see Sam Darnold throwing that ball and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Anderson's. And then it's not. Well, all right. Segue to Chris versus Brashawn, another rivalry week game here. And I was the only one who took Special K in this matchup. I thought he'd pull ahead, and quite frankly, I'm not sure how that didn't happen. First off, with Brashawn, he could have ran away even more with this if he would have started freaking Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what he's thinking, starting Russell Wilson, but whatever.
Dumb.
So dumb. Looking at Christopher's team here. Yeah, I mean, Devontae showed up like I thought he was going to show up. He didn't get that touchdown tonight, right? So just one more pass, one more catch. Things could have happened there for you, Chris. So yeah, that's not looking so good. So on Chris's team, I'm going to tell you what, and probably going to have the 49er fan jump on me. I would be dropping Trey Sermon at this point. I'm done with him, personally. I know it's only week 2, but I don't see the light shining bright on Trey, especially with Elijah Mitchell showing out, and he's also a rookie. That's where my feelings are on that. There's a couple candidates on Brashawn's team. One of his starters I would drop, Devontae Booker. Yeah.
You're just bypassing the bench and going right to starters.
Yeah, I would drop that. One of the players that I was big on at the beginning of the year, and he showed out with 2 touchdowns. That was probably because they played against Miami. But Zach Moss could have been starting on your team. That would have got you 14 points. So yeah, I would look at dropping Devontae Booker, or I would look at dropping Evan Ingram. There's no point in keeping Evan Ingram. He's not going to show up. He's also on the New York Giants. Just walk away from Evan Ingram. And I was a big Evan Ingram believer back in the day, and I lost all faith in him last year. So yeah, that's where I stand on that. I almost hate him as much as you hate Gesicki. So yeah, that's where we're at there. And then
Right on.
I think that's all the wrap up for this week. Yeah, right. There's no more.
Oh, I think let me check the tape. Oh, wait, there's one more game there's one more game we should talk about. One more matchup. I believe it is this guy right here versus your dumb, ugly face. And man, was it so nice. Just wiping the floor with a 3-time defending champ. Nah, nah, nah.
Not how you start, it's how you finish.
That was a
No.
good impression of him. Though.
That was a like spot on impression of it. I was like, I was proud of myself.
It sounds like that all the
You know,
time.
like an Oscar or something. At least a daytime Emmy. But yeah, you know, this was a rivalry week game, as all these were, and I won the rivalry week. So we'll talk about that. We also had a bet interwoven into this where you had said you bet me Kamara and Kelsey would outscore McCaffrey and Mark Andrews. And I looked at that and I said, well, I think you've got a little bit of an advantage there. And
You would have been wrong.
No, I still think before the games were played, I think you had a little bit of advantage. I kind of don't think you would have offered the bet if you didn't think you had at least a slight advantage in that situation.
Yeah.
And I looked and I said, well, I've got Tampa Bay's defense against Atlanta, and your defense was going up against my stud running back, Christian McCaffrey. So I saw a little opportunity. So I threw the defenses in there, and you fell for it hook, line, and sinker, sucker. And yeah, I don't know if it really would have mattered because my McCaffrey and Andrews would have beat Kamara and Kelsey anyway, because of course they would. But you know, insult to injury with the defenses added on top there.
It's just the guy that just believed they wouldn't and had to add something to the bet. Because if you believed they would have outscored them, there was no reason to change the bet.
Jeff, you're much prettier when you don't talk.
I know. I'm not concerned about looks.
Yeah, man, when I saw Tampa Bay's second interception touchdown of the game, it made me feel a little bit better about that situation. So yeah, you know, whooped your ass in that bet, whooped your ass in the rivalry week. Very, very nice. You know, feel like the team's coming together. All right. So we got some business to settle up. We're going to settle up right here on the spot. One of the rivalry week bets was if I won, I got to choose any player from your bench and take them for my own. I'm curious, had you won, who would you have taken from my bench?
Elijah Mitchell.
All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Not Tony Jones to back up Kamara just in case he ever gets hurt.
Nope. I would have gone Elijah Mitchell. Yep.
All right. So I've been really thinking about this, and I'm going back and forth between two players.
Mhm.
I think one guy is a good potential piece to get on my team for a future trade possibility.
No, it must be Carlos Hyde.
You got me. No, I was so I really struggled with going after Justin Fields because, you know, when Dalton gets hurt, sucks ass enough to get benched and they put Fields in there. If he balls out, then he's a really good trade candidate for someone that wants an 8th round quarterback keeper.
Yep.
That's, you know, going to be a good a dual threat, you know, a running quarterback as well.
Mhm.
But I feel like it's more important right now for me to solidify some position player situations. And it's not recency bias, but it might be a little bit of recency bias. So I'm going to take Cordero Patterson.
Yep. Yeah, I knew that was the one.
I think that this week kind of shows what he can do. I'm hoping that he starts cutting into Mike Davis's workload, and I'm also hoping that they potentially throw him out at receiver enough to where ESPN gives him a dual wide receiver running back designation.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a lot of hopes and a lot of wishes, but right now, Tony Jones Jr. isn't doing anything for me. So you're going to get him anyway.
All right.
And now if Kamara gets hurt, you do have his backup. See, I am so
What a guy.
nice guy. I'm a very nice guy.
What a guy.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that
I thought Tony Pollard was coming my way.
did you? Well, then
I thought that's what.
now you'd be very dumb if you thought Tony Pollard was coming your way. And you're not very dumb, so I know you didn't think that.
Okay.
So next, I'll tell you what your team name is going to be. How about that?
Yo, please do.
So for the next 2 weeks and longer, if you like it, your team name is very simple.
Okay.
It's I love the 49ers.
Oh, you bastard.
It's easy. It's very simple. It's clean. It's nice. You know, you can finally root for a team that wins championships. And then for the last, your new logo, I'm going to make it my background real quick. And I haven't, I didn't practice this at all. So we'll see if it works the way I want it to. Buddy, this is going to be your new logo for your team. Oh yeah, right there. Can you see it? Let me get out of the way.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
That's,
The logo's
Okay.
the logo's nice.
yeah, that's. I mean, we're gonna
Yeah.
make a 49er fan out of you yet.
It's gonna require that 40. That's for sure.
Well,
Mhm.
that's one of the ones that Corey is gonna drink at the viewing party.
You think
Who
that's
does-
the specific 40 he's gonna drink?
Does Corey get to choose what 40 he drinks, or does Spear get to choose what 40 he drinks?
The card doesn't say, so it's usually up to the drinker. So the card just says 40s.
Mm,
Rule wise, it's gonna be alcohol. 'Cause I don't know that you can go buy non-alcoholic 40. You probably could go get a 40 of Ziba or something ridiculous.
he's like just two 2-liter bottles of Coke strapped to his hands.
Right. Yeah, no, it definitely has to be alcoholic. Probably at least 4% or more, because anything below that's not alcohol.
Now, Corey, if you want to do like 2 40-ounce bottles of Jack Daniels, I support you. You might die.
You
But
may want to do it in a hospital.
yeah. All right. Well, oh, I almost forgot our weekly segment of picking next week's games, next week's matchups.
Yep.
So, anybody got that queued up?
I got it here. You bastard.
All right. And you're
First
you're the record keeper for this, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
This week we started at week 2, so we missed out on week 1, but it's no big deal. Started at week 2. We have Chewy and I bringing up the rear at 3-3, and Carver
Who's
at
winning?
4.
Who's winning, Matt?
Carver at
Hey,
4-2.
Kansas.
Yeah, Matt's winning. So because you're the winner, you actually get to make your picks first this week. So first matchup is Harris versus Billiam, Mr. Bill.
Ooh, smart money's on Bill, but I'm going to throw caution to the wind and choose Harris.
Bastard. Next matchup, we have Spear versus Brashawn.
Ooh. We're gonna go no looksies, right? No looksies on projection. You've got it up, so you can see that, but I'll go.
It doesn't project.
I believe in Brashawn, and I think Spear with his illegal 2 IR spot guys is gonna lose. So yeah, I go Brashawn.
Okay. Carver, yourself versus Matt Nielsen.
I'm gonna really hope Derrick Henry doesn't have 50 fucking points again, and I'm gonna choose myself. Oddly enough.
Okay. We got Corey versus the Chew Father down there, Wookie.
Ooh. That's tough. Man, that's I'll go to the next one. I'm gonna choose Richie because process of elimination, right?
Okay.
That's the only other game, I think.
Chris versus Chris.
Oh, then I choose Special K because Deering's team balled out. Aaron Jones. Nope, I'm choosing regular Chris.
Okay.
Chris.
Deering, got it.
And Richie. And now we got to circle back to Jeff and Corey. Wow, I'll go. I don't even know what their teams are. I'm gonna go Chewy. I thought he had one of the best drafts, and that's the only thing I can remember. I don't know any of their teams really, so I'm gonna go Chewy.
All right. Now let's see. Let's go to you, Wooks. Harris
Okay.
or Bill?
Yeah, I have to go with Harris.
Aw.
It's hard to pick a team that put up less than 70 points this week.
Spear versus Brashawn.
I took B last week, and he keeps playing Booker, so I'm going to take Spear.
All right. Carver versus Nielsen.
The problem is, as the guy that has Tannehill, I would love somebody other than Derrick Henry to score the touchdowns. I don't know that that's going to happen, so I'm going to pick Nielsen.
Okay.
Dumb.
Corey versus the Wookie.
I'm going to pick against myself in any hopes that my team shows up.
All right. Richie versus Gary.
Richie.
Chris versus Chris.
I'll try Special K.
All right. Now myself. All right. I am also picking myself to beat Bill, and it's because I don't foresee my team, I love the 49ers, have Kamara only score 5 points.
Do you think Bill's going to get upset like his cousin and challenge us all to a drink for all picking against him?
No, because I think Bill is smarter than that. So,
You'd
and
be
plus
wrong.
he's got all
Um,
those drinks to make.
Hey, I'm curious, how many players do you think you could sit and still beat Bill?
That's not going to be a bet. I don't want to put that out there.
Jose.
Let's see. All right, let's see. I'm moving on. Spear versus Brashawn. I really was hoping all of us would pick B so we could have Spear cry about it again. But yeah, I'm kind of with Chewy on this one. Like, I just don't see B beating Spear. I just don't. So I'm going Spear there. Nielsen versus Carver. I think Nielsen's gonna get revenge on my Matt brother in there for beating me. So I'm taking Nielsen. Corey versus Wookie. Oof. I chose Wookie last time and he burned me. Let's go for it. I can't go for the Seacock. I'm going Wookie again. All right, Richie versus Gary. You both took Richie. I'm just gonna be different. I'll take Gary. I'll take Gare Bear. And then Chris versus Chris. Special K is getting a victory this week. There we go. That's my picks. All right, we'll see how it plays out.
Do we have any where all three of us pick the same?
Yes, me.
Over Bill. Remember, we specifically brought this up already.
Yeah, all three of us picked me. Spear versus Brashawn. You're the only one who took Brashawn, Carver.
Okay.
Carver versus Nielsen. You're the only one who took yourself. Corey versus Wookie. Chewy's the only one who took Corey. Richie versus Gary. I'm the only one who took Gary. And Special K versus Deering. You are the only one, Carver, who took Deering.
All right.
So.
Very nice. All right. Well, this seems like a logical conclusion to our episode, our show. I hope you guys found it educational, entertaining, probably a little bit. But you know, at the very least, it was a big waste of time. So with that, we'll say goodbye and we'll see y'all next week. And as always, good luck to everybody, especially me. Bye, guys. See you next week.
Dumb. So dumb.
Later.